right, here it is. Jeannie Allen, The Windows into Spirit. Jeannie will share a handful of personal experiences that have been stunning glimpses into the workings of spirit. Jeannie grew up in Denmark and Ecuador. I grew up in Europe too. We have a similar kind of thing. She has an undergraduate degree in fine arts history and a master's degree in biogeography. What is biogeography? Will you explain that during your talk?
Okay.
Biogeography, I don't know what that is. Her profession has been developing teaching materials on environmental and physical sciences for both classrooms and informal education venues, and giving workshops for teachers primarily with National Geographic and NASA. Woohoo! She is now retired and is a visual artist and musician with her partner, Bill Nevins. Welcome, Jeannie. This is her first time to speak here. Yes. She's going to take over right here.
I have to laugh at myself because all my career was putting still images together. Somehow it's involved it, and I'm doing it again. Even here.
Yeah.
Still images together with captions. So I'm going to sit here so I can move the PowerPoint forward. Have to find it first. Help, where'd it go?
Right behind.
Oh, I think I see it down here.
Down there.
Yeah, okay. There. Okay, do you know how to make it just the slide?
I wish I did.
Okay, we'll be fine.
Just make sure you're in the microphone so they can hear you on Zoom.
Did you share the screen? Can they see it at home?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the camera's already directed.
Okay. How's this? Is that okay in the back?
Better.
Okay, so,
See if there's a thing.
Okay, everybody check it out.
You go to view and then hit.
all right, so, thank you, everybody who's helping. It is an honor to be in front of you. Is this still okay? Good. Okay. Now, I hope you will excuse me as I follow a script because I don't want to get the pieces of the story, miss anything, or get anything out of order. So when Jenny asked if I would speak to you, I was flabbergasted. The first thing that sprang to mind was that I'm not worthy. Yet familiar teachings are that we are each worthy. And I love that an important tenet of this church is that each of us has a voice that's worth listening to. I think it's magic and so important. So, and you are all so easy to be with. So thank you for that. In fact, the most interesting and deepest and shareable aspects of my life are not about me, you know, the me I'm talking about. Any stories of my life and my journey may be amusing, but in fact, the me part isn't important. So since I don't have words for most of the feelings that I have, including the ones I want to share with you, I'm going to start with some photographic images that I've made. Down arrow. Be quiet. That's in Denmark, where I grew up.
We can't actually see the slides on Zoom.
Oh,
Can you do a
How
screen
about
share?
now?
Maybe you could
No, they're too far away.
how about now?
No, they're too far away.
Too far away. Zach's moving the camera.
How about now, Sandy?
Well, there's a glare of light that's kind of messing with it. Can you push a screen share
Hold
button?
the shade down.
Yeah.
You go to Zoom.
How about now, Sandy?
No, it's getting better, but still not.
How about now?
Raise the camera up a little bit.
Can I try and share the screen?
Oh,
Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it? Screen share.
yeah, if you could do screen share, that would
Yeah.
solve the problem. But I don't know if you can manage that.
Well, I'm happy, I can always send this PowerPoint to you if you want to see the images later. Not the same. Well, I'm gonna keep talking. Well, no, I'm not. I'm gonna wait for images, sorry. Get out of order.
Can you see it now, Sandy?
Oh, there you go.
Good,
Yes,
thank
now we
you.
can see the images, but we can't see her. So move the camera back on her.
Back to Jeannie.
I don't care
I
about
think
that.
we need one or the other.
Do the
Oh,
images,
okay.
not me.
Well, we've got the images. Thank you. That's a lovely water shot.
Oh.
Okay, yay!
Which
you
one
did
is it?
Technology.
Which one is it?
Which, I don't see it on here now,
Uh-oh.
the PowerPoint.
Oh, here it
There it
is.
is. Are you seeing an image of grasses in a lake?
Well, I am. Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I think this is the best we can do for right
that's
now.
fine.
We're good.
We're good. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
That's in a backyard in suburban Maryland. As is that.
So is this biogeography like place of biology?
It's biogeography is where things live, where biological things live. And I did my master's degree around island biogeography.
Yep.
Maryland again. It's a ballet dancer. Flowers are very sexy. I'm sorry, but they're very sexy. They have to be. That's their job. More flowers, hard to beat. There's a story behind this one. I was at a Unitarian church Christmas fair, and I had about 45 framed photographs for sale. Now, a young, beautiful young person came to my table looking for a present for his sister, and he chose this one out of 45 framed images. His mother came along. It turned out they were the family that bought my family's house. And that's where I took that picture.
Wow.
Out of all 45. Just saying, that's what my talk is about. And I got out of order already, but it doesn't matter. So I want to talk about just a small number of unexplained experiences like this that briefly, I think many of us have had. David was talking about one, and so then I'd like to talk about creativity as we manifest our lives, and as I manifested a job that still amazes me, and then talk about the creativity of scientists, because I worked with very bright scientists for 20 years, and then share some creative thing that came as a surprise to me that I'm doing now. I had no idea I could do. So I did not seek out these experiences or ask for them, and I'm just going to describe them. I think it's important not to try to make more out of them or than they are. Just be grateful for them and be open and aware. So all that said, I am a mystic. My own, I think we all have a touch of it, or we wouldn't be here. But what that means to me is that there's more to our lives than we think, than we know. And I feel, and have always felt, there's the spirit in the flowing river heart of life everywhere around us, and I felt that way. It's very emotional since adolescence. So to give a little context to what I want to share, in my high school years, my parents got into pursuing paranormal experiences, such as mental telepathy. My father was even speaking in tongues at one point. And as a kid, I experienced it as interesting but misguided because it did not improve our family's life. And my mother's pursuits took her away, wasn't good for her marriage. And she was exploited by a woman who thought that she herself was a paranormal. So it felt off the rails to me. So in spite of seeing the appeal of those explorations, I reacted against them. I wanted grounding. And I held then, as still do, that what's reflected in one aspect of life must be reflected in the whole of it. So perhaps I overreacted, but after college with a BA in Fine Arts History and 5 years of Back to the Land in Mendocino County, California, I got a master's degree in biogeography and spent 43 years teaching science. So it was fascinating. I was an educator and I served as a bridge of sorts between research organizations and both formal venues such as classrooms and informal ones such as national parks and museums. So in that capacity, I worked as a researcher, writer, and picture editor for the National Geographic Society for 15 years, and as an educator for NASA Earth Observing Systems for the last 20 years of my career, ending 5 years ago. And the reason I mention all this is that I want to point out that given all those years of science and being accountable to scientists with those no-slouch organizations, I'm not someone to make things up. I'm not making anything up, I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to start with the most impactful experience that I had. It was about my father. It was back in 1976 when I was in the Earhart Seminars training in Est. Everybody's heard of Est? I did it. A multi-day self-improvement workshop that was transformative for me. It's now called Landmark Education. It's very controversial, but highly useful to me and also to my other members of my family who subsequently did more workshops than I did. So I'm happy to talk about it another time. But the workshop that I was in Boston. My parents were living in Northern Virginia. So one afternoon in the workshop, we were to meditate on someone close to us and to have a conversation with that person. My father appeared in my inner vision. I pushed him away. I wanted it to be a boyfriend I was going to have. You know, I have a boyfriend. But my father came back up again. So I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, meditating. And as I sat there, he's in front of me. He turned into a skeleton in front of me, just like from the top down, just like this. He was alive at the time, down in Virginia. And I knew this meant him dying, but I had no fear or upset about it. But I couldn't have a conversation with him, so I took him, sort of put him over here, and he appeared up here in my meditation, vibrant and alive around age 40, and with no emotional change. And this is still happening for me. He had been an alcoholic and severely depressed for the last years, several years of his life, and all that was gone. Do people cry at this church a lot?
Yes.
So then I cried and cried on his shoulders, mourning him, which I couldn't have done in real life. He just would have fallen apart. He was such a fragile guy at the time. So 24 hours later, my mother called me and said he's in the hospital. And 3 weeks later, thank you, thanks.
We're equipped here.
Yeah, equipped with love and Kleenex. So he died 3 weeks later. So I saw him lying there, just a husk of a person. And there was a he, and he wasn't there. So I mourned him in the normal ways, but at the same time, I knew there was more than was meeting the eye. And the stunning aspect of it, of course, was the 24-hour difference between my meditation and he showing up. I had no idea he was sick. Nobody did. So what do we do with that? Just go, wow. So clearly we're connected in ways that are not apparent always. We're connected with our loved ones in a deeper realm of life. That sure is intriguing. So that leaf is one of the smaller, similar experiences like that. So I do want to mention Findhorn. Have any of you heard of Findhorn and intentional? Okay. Have you been there? Okay. It was the first time I was ever in a place where I was sharing parts of my inner life that I didn't know I would ever share with anybody. I barely knew about them myself, and all of a sudden I'm living from the inside out, and very intimate sense of spirituality and closest to God that gets to blossom when you're in a place like that, or like this. I wanted to mention that. I had an interview for membership and I didn't stay because I needed to have a career, again, grounding. I felt like I needed to take care of myself. So back in the US, this is in the 70s, through the Findhorn network, I found someone who called herself an etheric masseuse. Aha. So I was skeptical, but I went to her. She would pull what she said was negative energy, some kind of goop off my body and throw it in the corner. And then she'd wash her hands. I thought, okay, this is weird. But she found an image on my back that she described to me that was the epitome, the essence of a deeply emotional and still troubling relationship with an old boyfriend in California that I'd had. It was, I didn't go all the way through, did I? You know what? It's the wrong PowerPoint, but it's okay. I've got all my drawings in there. So it was an image, the image she pulled off my back was a cabin with like a fierce Japanese warrior. That was very cool to me, it was shocking, because it encapsulated my feelings in a way I never had. So the next one was a dream. This is for Charles, because I just met Charles coming down the stairs this morning. He said, "My dreams help me." My dream helped my family, my mother. So when I was about 11 years old, I had a highly moving dream about my mother, and I forgot it then, but a story from her when I was in college brought it back in a flash. In the dream, my mother was on her back, and there was a man with really strong features bending over her, wanting her to come with him. And in the dream, I urgently wanted her to do that. I'm 11. Turned out, she did have an affair. We were living in Copenhagen. She was playing flute in the academic orchestra, and the conductor wanted her to have an affair. And through that affair, she discovered she was a passionate woman. She hadn't had that with my dad. So, and I, as a little girl, how did I know that she had that opportunity? How did I know that she should do it? But I did. And when I told her, of course, she was relieved because she was worried it would hurt the family, but it didn't. And none of us kids knew about it. We would have talked to each other about it if we thought it was happening. Then the leaf, and then, so to me, the image of the Danish lake grass that I had, that was a moment when I went back to Denmark where I had lived as a child, and I was just walking by a lake and I took the image, and somehow I think, I don't know how this happens, but our emotions, our experiences, our events go into the things we create, and they make them often more powerful for other people. It gets translated. I think it's pretty fascinating. So on to manifestations as creativity. I think we all create our lives one way or the other, consciously or not, and for learning. It's a theory, it's a good one. Well, this one was a doozy because it was very specific. So when I came back from California, my back to the land experience, and I really needed to dig in and build a career, I needed help, and I had a little professional help. We looked at the quadrants of my life and what was I doing that I loved so much and what skills was I using. And then I just meditated and looked as deep inside myself as I could and found what would have the most meaning for me. It was simplifying scientific ideas for children, putting still photographs together somehow, like maybe in a museum exhibit, working in a resource center where I could reach out all around the world and learn and from people, and work in a team of really good people. Serve God was in there. and make between $10,000 and $15,000 a year, which to me at the time was a lot of money coming from the woods of Northern California. So I hit the street looking for jobs. A few months later, I heard about a job through someone who'd been mountain climbing in Austria with someone who worked at National Geographic and heard about this job. And she said, don't go to human resources, go to the person who's hiring. And I did. And it turned out to be making film strips. I got the job, it turned out to be making film strips for school children. So remember film strips are still images put together in a strip? Who knew the National Geographic did that? Well, but they did. Simplifying scientific ideas for children. My first two, we had, each project had like a team of 3 or 4 people. My first 2 collaborators were Quakers. And guess how much I made? $12,500 a year. Right smack in the middle. I mean, I still, every time I tell that story, I just can't, like, are you kidding? So it happened. Oh. So this is about science and creativity. After my 15 years with National Geographic, my next long-term job was with NASA Earth Observing Systems at Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. So I was there for 20 years until about 5 years ago when I retired. One very important thing I found at NASA was that the best scientists are highly creative, but they don't tell you, they don't put that out. My office was at the end of a long hall in a small cluster with the offices of a major laboratory chief that was hydrospheric and biospheric science. It's a really big deal for NASA Earth observing, which they do with about 20 satellites. They don't broadcast it like Democrats don't. And the chief scientist at Goddard Space Flight Center. So I work very closely with them and other wonderful scientists of all stripes every day, including preparing them to give talks at the Library of Congress in a partnership that I had for public programs. So scientists actually draw deeply on their imaginations and their intuition, as David was describing to me too. They don't necessarily tell you so, but this aspect of the scientific approach to exploring the world is commonly hidden from the rest of us. The personality, passion, stories of inherent risk, danger, mistakes, and failures all take a back seat to the more impersonal theories, observations, and database results. And among scientists, there seems to be a fear about being seen as not scientific enough. Don't talk about this less scientific side of your life, like basket weaving or painting clouds or photographing flowers, which scientists I knew loved doing. Well, that's as it should be in the scientific world. But it's just not the whole story. And as an educator for scientists, I was, aching to tell that side of the story. It's all about creativity. It's all about people. It's all about curiosity and exploring however you do it. I wanted to share that. Lastly, I'd love to share a creative ability that came to me a couple of years ago. So all my life, I admired, was in awe of people who could draw and paint. And then finally, after retiring and my brother dying, I think some energy got released and I started doing it anyway. So here's what I'm doing now. I started drawing bark because it's very forgiving. Isn't that cool? Yeah. It just makes me laugh. That's from a street tree in Albuquerque. Wow. That's not bark. That's from a tree that fell over. And that was a lupin that there was a rainstorm and a big drop of water was left on it. And you can't see the whole drawing, but I drew from that. That's the Rio Grande River. Whoops. So I started drawing stumps. They're also forgiving. That has stump with fungus around it. Always makes me think of a merry-go-round. They're getting intenser. That one's really intense. That's the last one I did. Oh, that's a tree stump in Valle Vidal that fell over. Hard to do. And that's a photograph. And that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you for now. I'm really happy to have been up here and just to say thank you. And I was sharing with David, for me, just saying the prayer thank you, this is so centering, and all of a sudden everything falls into place and it feels just right. So thank you for letting me speak to you and be part of the community.
Will you answer a few questions?
Of course, do I have time?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm fascinated by names. Have names played any part in these experiences that you've had?
You know what's odd is that Charles and I were just talking about names. No. Well, we were saying that names are powerful. And-
They carry those vibrations.
Your name,
Zach.
yes. How do you want to say anything about your name?
Well, not my name. I could, but I find that people, not always, but typically look like their name. I rarely meet someone who doesn't look like their name. That's just me.
Or their dogs.
You're right, dogs.
Their dogs.
Yeah, no. But I do numerology, so
So that happens with the names.
30 years, so
Yeah.
I'm deeply in.
So the conductor that had an affair with my mother made up little songs for each of us children based on our names.
Oh.
So Jeannie, we would find on the keyboard and made a little song.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are the programs you worked for in trouble now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. My current attitude as a physician, so that's a certain amount of science, is keep the good practices going, whatever the hell the politicians do.
Yeah.
Keep it going,
Keep it
however
all
you
going.
can. And you're doing some of that now.
Thanks.
Good for you.
We have a lot of morning. I mean, you can't build a NASA program overnight. It's as art as much as it is a science.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Bill?
Jeannie, yeah, just because I know that part of the work that you did in the latter years of your working career with the Native American community, also that program is being threatened, but could you just mention a little bit about what you did on behalf of NASA with the indigenous people?
Oh, okay. Because I moved out to New Mexico, the guy I was working for he was running program that supports tribal people in college community, their tribal colleges and universities to come to NASA and learn about science and technology. And Bill and I went around all around the West visiting tribal colleges at one point, which was really something. And there's one very, very quick story. Do I have
Yes.
three? That I heard from one fellow who went on a program to a NASA field center. NASA has 10 field centers around the country, and I think they went to Johnson Space Center to write computer programs. But anyway, they were in a room with one of the major leading engineers, and all these tribal people said, well, when you're hiring someone, what do you look for at NASA? And he said, we look for people who can think outside the box, who can use whatever resources are available, and who are good at working in teams. So science is a community effort. And he said, well, that's what we do. And that's what Native Americans do. And so, go for it.
Native American Scientific Agency.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you. I guess